Well, hello everybody. Hellcrex here. Just doing a little flip through of the Dystopian Wars rulebook that came in the box set from the hunt for the Prometheus, the two-player box set that I showed off the other day. Well, what we have here is the it's the inclusion rulebook. It's with some fluff in it that come with the box set. The rules are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Here we got the inside cover. We got a lot of the information right here. If you're ever part of the Dystopian War Sturgium Lounge, basically, we have a lot of these guys are lurking around and spend time talking and answering questions and stuff that pop up every once in a while, which is kind of nice. They are, it's not like you can't talk to these individuals. All right, here we got the table of contents. It's basically showing you a lot of the goodies that you can find inside this rulebook. Basic terms, how do you go through the game, what you're going to find out. So, it's carried over from the last game version of the edition, and with some new twists on it. All right, here we got talking about the dice pool, exploding dice, that. So basically you get these little buggers right here that come in your box set, and you just roll those and you get your results. Alright, then you have your counters. Basically you start talking about re-rolling dice, critical hits, etc., what needs to be canceled. And here you get critical damage dice. Ta-da! These little buggers. And you get a set for everybody in the game. There's two of them. One set for both sides. Alright. And then they're talking about the stat cards for the units. They did have these up on the kind of like a playtest versions of everything that was up on their website. I couldn't find them anymore, so they must have taken them down. But this basically shows you what the new stats are going to look like for the ships, and so how to make them work. It's like you have a full ship, then once it takes damage, and you flip the card over, basically. So they're going to take a little bit of damage. Then you get this is kind of reminiscent of like what you see now with Warhammer 40k, where as some units take damage, they start decreasing their abilities, and that's kind of like similar stuff that you see. Their attributes get knocked down, and then it's like talks about all the different things you can do with it. How. Start reading through, and then here you're talking about fore, aft, port, starboard. Pretty simple. Your nautical terms. Firing arcs, how they work. If you ever played any type of nautical game, it's pretty straightforward. Nothing to get crazy about. Then they're talking about range, line of sight. Now they got short, closing, and long range. Before they had them set up in range bands. There's 4 range bands before. Now it's dropped down to 3. Range is comparable. It's used a little bit shorter range now in this game compared to the 32 in the other one. Because each range band in the other one was 8 inches. Which, it's like how many dice you throw in each range band. Alright, build your force, how to go through it, your victor cards, those little buggers that, the big giant thick deck that you had that come with it. Fighting and common encounters. Okay, encounters. You roll a die and it tells you what you're going to face. So it's going to randomize the battles and then try to go from there for how many points you're going to have to worry about. Most of the time when we played the other one, it was like, yeah, we're going to play this many points. Just bring a fleet with you next time we play. We just agreed way beforehand what the next game was going to be like. Then you got the phases: initial phase, activation phase, operation step, movement step, how, basically how you move it with the turn dial. Before in the other one there was 3 turn dials depending on, it's like small ships, medium ships, and large ships all had their own turn dial. And actually it was 4. The flying ones had another turn dial, which was 45-degree angles. So they just like type of thing. And I don't think I remember seeing any flying. Well, there might have been flying ships. I don't know if they're going to continue with that or not. Alrighty. And we got the shooting step, the shooting resolution. It's pretty simple. You look at your target, line of sight, figure out how many dice you're going to toss at him, and throw the bucket. And see how much damage you do. And then if you do break through, then you can do critical damage and figure out what that is. Before that you roll 2d6, and now you just roll a die. So, interesting. Then you have defenses. You got arrows, submerged defense. Yeah, it depends on what kind of ship. And the other one, previous game you could do the assault step where your crews could assault across. Wasn't it really, well, in the old one you had some different nations had different abilities. It's like the Prussians, which I played a lot of, they had lethal strike because of using Tesla weapons. They would kill crews, like bug zapper them. And then when you get close enough with your fleet, you already killed off a lot of their crew because of it, and then you just go jump your troops across, your Marines, and take a ship. Now it's a little more hairier type thing where you still go across. It's not a sure thing. And then you got results, in phase, repairs, etc. In case if you took critical damage, you got to repair it eventually. Your engineers to go into town, it's like, hey, we got to fix this damage. And go through disorder, conditions, collisions. Yes, those rams, not a good thing. Never was a good thing. But bigger ships have a tendency to crush little ships. So if a big ship, let's say there's been many times where I had a dreadnought, and somebody wants to seriously screw up your movement and everything, they'll throw a frigate right in front of you, and you crunch the frigate when you smash into it. But that's where you stop dead cold. You don't get to advance any farther. So it's kind of like certain ways to play the game. It's like it can be used there. And you got description of different types of squadrons. You got short range squadrons. You got escorts, corvettes, and then they talk about the play area. Generators, because ships can have shield generators. Okay, we got shield generators, shroud, fury, magnetic generators. There used to be tons of atomic generators, mimic generators. Yeah, they used to have a wide plethora. Every nation had a specific kind of generator they had only for their fleets, and now it's made more generic. Then we got weapon qualities, and it goes with that. And then now they start talking about how to play the game, type of encounters you have that you go back way at the beginning. Then we have some artwork. All right, so that was the rules. This booklet right here. See how thick that is. That is just the rules. The rest of it is fluff. So if you're a fluff bunny and you like reading about fluff more than you like the rules, well, this is for you. Probably, they could have just gone with a pamphlet type thing that was maybe a little bigger and gone that route without all the fluff, and then that would probably appease a lot of people too. Because to be honest with you, the first thing I ever get when I get one of these things is that I'm reading rules. That's the important thing to me, and this gets ignored sadly. It's cool, but if you're wanting to just play a game, this is where I'm spending my time, is up front. Alright, so just flip through this. Talks about all the different encounters, different activities that happen. You got your different factions. You got the Covenant Enlightened, which used to be the Covenant of Antarctica. Okay. Just more fluff. And then they got the Celestial Empire. This would be probably the Empire of the Blazing Sun, or else this might be. It looks like the Empire of the Blazing Sun. How they changing the names of everything. So my brain is, after playing 6 years of everything's named one way. Now they're changing the name, so it's gonna take me a while to reprogram the brain housing group. Jade Pack, Immortals. Ottoman Empire. I do have a fleet of Ottomans myself. They obviously looking a lot different from when they did before. Actually, Plunk. This is one of my Ottoman ships that I painted up right here. So if you ever want to have everything that looks really cool, just ask me. I can paint that stuff. But that's the Ottomans. That's what I did a lot of. Commission painting, for painting tons and tons, thousands, probably thousands of Dystopian Wars miniatures I've painted over the years. Because it's back in the days I'd paint a box, at least a box a week. I did that for like 3-4 years in a row. I did a lot of painting. Alright, the British Crown. This is the Kingdom of Britannia, now called the Imperial British Crown. A little bit of history. The American Revolt. Hoorah. Prussian Wars. Fortress Britannia. In conclusion, then we had the Union of Federated States. Federated States of America. FSA is now the UFS. Got a ton of these guys. But actually, those was my main fleet. The Americans, Prussians, and Antarcticans were my 3 main fleets. And I do have Russians and Ottomans too. And Italians. I got a bunch of Italians. Lots of Italians, actually. The Crown Commonwealth. I did have a bunch of Australians. Put these guys to hell and back. The Imperium. Well, that brings back bad memories. And the Kickstarter. That's the Prussian iceberg carrier that we were supposed to get in the Kickstarter, but never did. All right. Prussian Wars. The Latin Alliance. Kingdom of Portugal and Spain. your index. Back page with your blog area. Here in case you want to look at that. Pause it and go look. And the back page. Just a quick note. If you were a Firestorm Armada person, they are now, if you do any type of social media, you can go to their one website, type in Firestorm Armada, I think it's firestorm.com or blog or something like that. You can enter your information and get a copy of the Firestorm Armada game. And they do have a Facebook group. I can't remember. Just found all this out last night, so get into it myself. But that is the full flip through of the Dystopian Wars rulebook. Like I said, there's like 39 pages of rules or information. That's rule, maybe it's 40 pages of just the core stuff that you need to play the game, and then the rest is fluff. So there you go. A little ship in there. There we go. A flight. Little ottomans to pass away. All right. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hellcrex out.